Hey everybody, in this video I want to talk about XELA Technologies Incorporated, ticker symbol XELA. They're having a pretty decent update, so I want to get into their chart and give you my thoughts on what could be coming next. And then after that, I have another nice looking tradable chart that I want to show you. Now, if you're new to my channel, I have been trading and investing for over 20 years, and in each video I will show you trades that I see setting up right now. So if that's something that interests you, please consider subscribing so you don't miss any future trading and investing ideas. And also, if you would like to support the channel and become part of our Patreon community and see what we are buying and selling in real time for a measly $10 a month, that link is in the description. All right, let's get into this chart of XELA Technologies Incorporated. But before I do, if you can do me a small favor and like that smash button before I get started and help me out with the YouTube algorithm for putting all of this together for you, I would really appreciate it. And actually, if you don't enjoy technical analysis or even my technical analysis, it's nothing to be ashamed of. It's not for everybody. If you could let me know that by hitting the thumbs down button twice at the very end of the video, I would greatly appreciate that as well. And also remember, I am not a financial advisor. All this is just my opinion. I'm just trying to show you what I see in the charts. Please make all of your own trading decisions. With all that being said, let's get into this chart. And we can see that today, XELA is up quite a bit. It's up about 29% at the moment. This is an intraday chart, so it's going to bounce around just a little bit. But I got in here right around $2.67 a share when it pulled back to that 8-period exponential moving average. And also when it was pulling back towards support, I was hoping we were going to get a boost off of this moving average and that support. And it looks like that is working out so far. And actually today I ended up taking some profit at $4.98 a share. The trend is starting to go parabolic a little bit, so I figured I should probably start feeding some shares into the market. I am not saying this trend is over. All I know is when a trend starts going up like this, you probably better start feeding some shares into the market because it can turn around pretty quickly, as we can see back in early March. You know, if you bought this stock right around this 200-period simple moving average, this yellow line on the chart, if you bought it, say, at about $1.60 or so, you know, at one point, just a couple days later, you were up to about $7.80 a share. But if you just held on to it, this thing came all the way back down about a month or so later, almost down to your purchase price. So you never know how high these things are going to go. And usually when they start going parabolic, they usually pull back just as fast. So you got to be a little quick on your feet and feed at least a little bit into the market. There's nothing wrong with, you know, ringing the register a little bit, even if you want to be a long-term shareholder in a stock like this. Usually when a stock starts going parabolic, you get a chance to buy it back cheaper if you are patient. Now, with all that being said, this volume is still pouring into the stock. Still another huge volume day. The trading day isn't even over. This is probably going to be the biggest volume day I would imagine. It's probably going to get past this one right here. But let me go intraday and show you why I decided to sell some shares off. Like I said, I sold some at $4.98, but if I back the chart out a little bit, this is the 15-minute chart, you can just see the velocity of the trend. You know, the thing is just going parabolic. When it starts doing this, you know, I like selling at least some of them. Sometimes I sell all of them. I sold it right about here. As you can see, it went up about another 10, 11, 12% or so. So I didn't get out at the absolute top, but it is a little bit below where I purchased my, or where I sold out that position. So I could repurchase them back for a you know, a small gain, but I do think it's probably going to go down a little bit more. That is just a guess. I mean, with all the volume that's pouring into this stock, it could go screaming past 550 tomorrow. So I'm going to take a little bit of a chance, and if I am wrong and it does go screaming past 550, I still have some shares. If it does roll over, I do have the peace of mind knowing that I did unload some shares at a higher price. So I've already locked in some profit, and for me, that just makes it easier for me to make decisions down the line. If you already lock in some profits, in my mind, I am already a winner, so it takes a lot of the stress out. But that's one of the reasons why I like to use that incremental sale, especially when they go parabolic like this. Now, let's go back to the daily chart real quick. Now, if we do get a pullback in this stock, I would expect some support right about here. Let me bring it down just a little bit more. I would expect some decent support right around 340 to maybe 360. And you can see this white line is quickly going to be catching up to that box. So if we get a reversal tomorrow or the next day, I think there's a pretty good possibility there's going to be a decent bounce right about here. So that would be a decent play for a day trade, or if just I wanted to re-enter into the stock, I'll probably just end up playing that on a day trade. If that does happen, you know, this thing could end up going way below this box tomorrow, or it could end up screaming higher. But if that scenario plays out, I think that's a great place for a day trade. We should get a decent bounce right there. All right, the next stock that I want to show you is SGOCO Group Limited, ticker symbol SGOC. I'm not sure how you pronounce their name, or if you just say the letters. I really don't care. I am just potentially interested in day trading this stock. But what I wanted to show you is this thing is coming down hard right towards that 8-period exponential moving average. I have an alert set up on my software for when it gets close. I am thinking that we should get at least a day trade bounce off of this moving average. I love waiting for extremely volatile stocks when they get way above it to come down to it and trade that first touch, because usually, at least on an intraday basis, you'll get a pretty decent bounce. Sometimes you get a multi-day bounce. I usually just trade them on a day trading basis, because more often than not, you usually get about a one-day bounce. But we can see that the volume is much lower today than it has been on the last 2 up days. So that is telling me that selling is starting to dissipate, and it wouldn't surprise me one bit if we get a nice reaction, a dead cat bounce, whatever you want to call it, off this 8-period exponential moving average either tomorrow or maybe in the next couple of days, because you never know tomorrow. If this thing doesn't come down any further, it's probably not going to touch this, and it's getting a little late in the trading day. I like it when these things happen earlier in the day. So tomorrow might be an up day, or maybe like an inside day right here. But if we get a rollover the next day and it comes down and hits that moving average, I'm going to be very interested in trading it. It all depends on the market action, but in most cases, I like to grab that first bounce up, because I usually get, after a stock has gone up big like that, you usually get a bounce off of that first touch. You know, one stock that I was talking about yesterday that I am watching, I'm actually watching for it to come down to this level right here. I'm hoping it, this purple line catches up to the box, so we have that little double support factor in this price area right here. I'd like to catch that bounce up. But as we can see, when MRIN screamed up past $25 share, got up to 27, thing came all the way down to the 8-period exponential moving average right around 16, and actually had a 2-day bounce. You know, you could have gotten out the next day over $20 a share, so that would have been a really decent day trade. But usually when they come down and touch it again, you know, there isn't that much support. That's why I say I like to, the caveat on this type of trade is you want to play that first bounce into it. It's not going to keep bouncing and bouncing and bouncing off that moving average. Usually it'll slice through it eventually, because this is kind of a climax top type of pattern. Sometimes these things can get another leg up, but when a stock has gone up this far this fast, you're getting pretty close to a top. You're certainly much closer to a top than you are a bottom. Another stock that has been moving in a huge fashion lately has been Clover Health. But you can see Clover Health came all the way down to that 8-period exponential moving average, held it for a couple of days, and eventually failed it. But you could have been waiting down here at about 13, call it 13.80, 13.90 a share, and you could have got out, near $16 a share or so, depending on how much profit you wanted to take. And these things can turn around fast, so you can't be too greedy. So on these ones, I like to do that incremental sell as well sometimes when these things are going up. Sometimes I just make enough and I just get out completely, because I don't want it to turn back around, because obviously the tide has shifted once you get this big reversal. But I just wanted to show you this type of trade. It's a day trade that I love doing. Like I said, this one you could have got in around 13.80, 13.90 and got out around $16 a share or so. That was a pretty decent size move. So on SGOC, let's take one more look at it. Tomorrow, this 8-period exponential moving average is probably going to raise up to, I don't know, maybe 875 or so, maybe 880. So that would be a decent area if it comes down in the morning for a bounce. So I'm definitely going to be watching this one for tomorrow. Okay, everyone, that is all I have for this video, so I'm going to end it right there. But if you have any questions or comments on any of these stocks, or if you have any other ones you want me to take a look at, please leave it down there in the comments section. I will get to them as soon as I can. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching my video all the way to the end, and until next time, take care, everybody.